Yo, what's up YouTube? We're back at it, back with another one, with the vlog. I know it's been forever since I've done this, but you know, in between time, in the meantime, I wanted to provide some content for you all and keep this thing flowing. So I'm gonna go with the immediate reactions to tonight's draft lottery. The draft lottery went about an hour tonight on TV from 7:30 to 8:30. The NBA really wanted to milk its ratings and the money. I think it's a way, for Adam Silver to get back at a lot of the fans and the league for embracing tanking and just going with the tanking culture. So, I mean, without further ado, I'm gonna get to it. Pick number 1 is going to the Phoenix Suns, the worst record in the league. It seemed like it might have been Ayton and Booker was gonna be a lock when Ayton went on that radio show and said that he wanted to play with Booker for a Kobe Shaq little duo thing. But the Phoenix Suns' new coach is a huge fan of Luka Doncic, the huge European prospect and everything like that. And when you bring in a new coach like that, a new culture, you really don't want to bang heads. You want to have that same vision from everybody from top to the bottom in the organization when you're building something new and you're trying something new and you're trying to just do something different. Now, so I think Luka Doncic is gonna go number 1. It's not a done deal, obviously. When you have a general manager or owner who are Arizona fans, they're gonna wanna go with the best player available, who is DeAndre Ayton. And especially if you have your star player, Devin Booker, maybe speaking in your ear like, hey, I want Ayton to play with me. I want Ayton to play with me. And you already have your best player who's a shooting guard, small forward, who they're projecting Doncic to be. And shoot, you might go Ayton. But I think they're gonna go Doncic. Number 2 are the Sacremento Kings. They climbed all the way up from the chance to get number 7, all the way up to number 2. Now, on the surface, you might think, oh, they might not need to go number 1 because they have so many lottery picks on their squad already, but you have to look at how many of the picks actually panned out. So, Justin Jackson from UNC, you gotta show me more. De'Aaron Fox, the jury's still out on him. We know he can play. We've seen the highlights. We've seen some of the things that he did last season as a rookie. Harry Giles, still waiting for him to get on the court. When you tear 2 ACLs by the age of 19, it's tough. I mean, you're looking at Michael Porter Jr. now, who was the guaranteed number 1 player coming into this year, but now he might not even go in the top 5 because of a back injury that he suffered right at the beginning of the year, because you just don't know how people are gonna react when they come back from one injury. This man has 2 injuries, and not just any injuries. He has 2 ACL injuries. So I mean, fingers crossed for Harry Giles to get back on the court and do what he do and be that guy that he was a shell of in high school, who was supposed to be one of the greatest prospects in the last 5 years or so. So Harry Giles, the jury's still out on him. Willie Cauley-Stein, a decent player. Is decent good enough? I don't know. 13-7 last year, those are good stats. Those are decent stats. But 13-7 on a team like the Kings, that's not enough. We're gonna probably need a little more in the league where you have Porzingis and Lauri Markkanen and all those guys and stuff like that. So you know, it's definitely not enough to get it done in today's NBA in the league with DeMarcus Cousins, a former guy. So hey, Sacramento Kings, long story short, Buddy Hield, 13 points a game. They're probably gonna go best player available. Best player available is gonna be DeAndre Ayton if Phoenix indeed goes with Luka Doncic at number 1. Number 3, Atlanta Hawks. I'm going with Marvin Bagley. Travis Schlenk, the Hawks general manager, previously said that he's definitely going best player available every single time. 1 year with the Golden State Warriors, they decided to go with the team needs over best player available, and they ended up getting Udo, excuse me, it's been a minute since he's been in the league. I remember he played in the ball in 2017. So that just shows you how that pick went for them. And that was in the midst of, picking Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. They picked Udo with the number 6 overall pick. So he said no matter what, they're going best player available. Forget needs. So when you look at best player available, most talent, most raw talent, it's probably Marvin Bagley III. Jarren Jackson, I know, is a guy that a lot of people are high on at the spot for the Hawks because of the way that he fits in next to Collins versus the way that Marvin Bagley would, Collins and Bagley, the same type of player. Bagley probably has a higher ceiling offensively than Collins does. And they both kind of have their little tweaks and stuff on defensive end that they have to work out. But I mean, like we said, we're going for best talent, most talent, and I'm going with Marvin Bagley. Higher ceiling there, more raw talent on the offensive end. Let me see who the number 4 pick was. The number 4 pick is going to the Memphis Grizzlies. Poor Grizzlies. They tanked all year, had fired their coach. Ever since then, they just stopped caring. Marc Gasol doesn't really care anymore, what it seems like. I remember they fought really hard to win a game against like Detroit at the end of the season on the road, and that really helped the Hawks in their tanking chronicles or anything like that. They're gonna have Michael Conley coming back next year. I know Tyreke Evans had a great year last year. Memphis has some bright spots, but they also have to learn. You can't just jump from not winning and then just jump into winning all of a sudden. It doesn't work like that. You gotta have a little, you gotta learn how to win again. You gotta learn how to win again. I think they go with the Memphis Grizzlies, switch it up a bit, and they go with Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba from Texas. I think they go with another big man, a talented big man. Marc Gasol, I think time's ticking for Marc Gasol, man. After last season is, I think, really hurt his reputation. Is all right. You pick me or the coach. They picked you, and then you responded by giving them one of the worst records in the NBA. I understand he was hurt for a little bit. I understand that his point guards were out for a little bit. Marc Gasol, I think the time's ticking for him. When Memphis is looking towards the future, and even if he doesn't get to start this year, he can sit behind them and come off the bench for a couple of years. Really learn from Gasol how to, get the little post moves and work his game like Gasol, because Gasol is a modern day big man who was stepping out and stuff a couple of years before it became the absolute must-have thing in the NBA. So I'm going surprise here. Surprise pick number 4. The Memphis Grizzlies going with Mo Bamba. Now number 5, the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas is another team that might have slipped. They were tied with the Hawks, and they won the tiebreaker over the Hawks for better odds to get the 3rd pick, and they lost. So they got the number 5 pick, and they have DS2. They have Seth Curry. Other than that, who does Dallas really have? They have Nerlens Noel. I forgot it. I'm sorry, Nerlens. They have Nerlens Noel. So they have some pieces. They have a couple of pieces. But who can they add really to make that team, to really give that team a solid foundation and a solid young nucleus? And I think it can be Mikal Bridges. I mean, Harrison Barnes, excuse me. Throw some respect on Harrison Barnes' name, but I know Mikal Bridges is definitely, probably, I would say, I'm just gonna go out on a wing and say it. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say it because I looked at everybody else. I looked at Doncic and Michael Porter Jr., but I think Mikal Bridges isn't that far off when you're talking about the next best wing available in this draft. And so maybe they go Mikal Bridges, or maybe they just go Jarren Jackson. I don't know. But I think for my final pick, I'm gonna go with, I talked myself into Mikal Bridges. I'm going Mikal Bridges to the Mavericks at number 5. Number 6, we have Orlando. Orlando's another team like Sacremento. They're constantly in the lottery, so they have a bunch of lottery picks on that squad. Aaron Gordon, I believe his contract is up this summer. So you have to deal with that. You have all the other stuff going on in Orlando. They have Fournier, and they have Vucevic. They have the young talent. I mean, it's not working. The young talent in Orlando isn't working. They got rid of another one of those guys earlier this season, Elfrid Payton, who wasn't working. I don't know what you do. If you're Orlando, you have to go, I guess, best available player again. I know Trae Young's the guy that's being thrown in the mix for Orlando, but I think they passed on Trae Young just because Trae Young, I feel like Trae Young's a risk. I mean, he's a huge risk because he did have that super slump in the second half of the season that people can't just overlook. Oklahoma didn't win that many games. They barely made it into the tournament. I believe they got embarrassed when they got into the tournament. Trae Young just isn't that exact thing that you knew with Steph Curry. Steph Curry led the nation in scoring, and I mean, so did Trae Young. Granted, I got you on that. But you can't tell me that Steph Curry had less help than Trae Young had at Oklahoma. And when you look at what Steph Curry did in the tournament, staying another year, and then really putting himself on the map that sophomore year before staying another year after he was on the map and being even better that junior year, I think that really helped Steph Curry in his development, of course, his draft stock. And Trae Young, I think Collin Sexton's a better point guard than him. I was about to say quarterback, but I think he's a better point guard than him. He's just got that dog in him. He's got that motor in him. But, I mean, Trae Young is the attractive pick in today's NBA where everybody's shooting threes and as many threes as they can shoot. Go ahead, keep shooting. Anyways, I'm going to pass on Trae Young for the Orlando Magic. And I'm going to go with Mikal Bridges. I mean, like I said previously, I'm super high on Mikal. You already have Fournier on the wings and Aaron Gordon on the wings there. But why not? I'm still picking the best player until I find something that works out for me. You already have Vucevic at the 5. You have Gordon at the 3, Fournier, all those other guys they have down there in Orlando. You have some young talent. It's just, I don't know, man. Orlando's in some trouble, and whoever their next coach is, whether that's Becky Hammond or whoever, they have their work cut out for them down there. But I have Mikal Bridges going there. That's another shocker pick. Mo Bamba at number 4, and then Mikal Bridges at number 6. That's something that you really don't see in a lot of mocks, but there's usually happens in the draft where you see a couple of picks that you're like, oh, that's kind of a reach. I remember Jaylen Brown was like that with the Celtics at number 3, where people were like, oh, Jaylen Brown would have been there at 5, 6, 7. Like, y'all could have traded down for this man, and y'all traded. And you see how that's working. That's working just fine for Boston. So, I mean, that's where I'm going. Mikal Bridges. Anyways, number 7, back to Chicago and Lauri Markkanen. You have Markkanen. You have Chris Dunn. You have Zach LaVine. You have those guys already there in Chicago, and they were another team that was tanking really hard at the beginning of the year before getting it together, figuring how to play with each other, and winning some games there towards the second half of the season. So I think Chicago goes Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter is a hooper, and I think a lot of people sleep on him just because he played on such a flashy team with so many other big names and hoopers at Duke. But I think Wendell Carter's a hooper, and he really fits Chicago. What Chicago's trying to do is just put a bunch of young pieces together and get on this run. I mean, Markkanen, power forward, one of the better big men in the game, like I've already said. So underrated because he's playing with Chicago, and he's not, I guess, a big name like everybody else, or he's not flashy enough. I don't know. I like his game. But, yeah, I have Wendell Carter going to the Bulls. Number 8, Cleveland Cavaliers, is going to be Collin Sexton. I mean, if you want to keep LeBron happy, you got to get the biggest name available, which although it would be Trae Young. But Collin is a dog, man. Collin Sexton is a dog. I think he's going to be one of kind of the steals of this draft. And that sounds crazy at number 8 because he's in the top 10 and he's in the lottery. I think it's a steal. I think Collin Sexton's going to be a problem in this league. And well, as you can see, I'm just a huge fan of his game. The way he gets after it, super aggressive. doesn't stop shooting, is gonna get his teammates involved. He's gonna do whatever he has to do to help his team win the game. I think that's the difference between him and Trae Young. So, I mean, that's another shot at Trae Young, but I'm going to go with Collin Sexton at number 8 to Cleveland. Try to keep LeBron there. Number 9, we have the Knicks. The Knicks got to go with Trae Young. Biggest name on the board at that point. I know I just said biggest name in Collin Sexton in the last pick, but Trae Young, man. Trae Young is definitely going to the Knicks. He fits in Madison Square Garden. He wants the spotlight on him. That's just what he wants. Trae Young to the Knicks, Madison Square Garden. I'm excited to see it. Even though there's a huge risk, I said there is a huge risk in him not panning out in the NBA. I think there's a huge chance that he does pan out in the NBA just because he fits the modern day NBA of shooting 33s a game and shooting as much as he wants to. So I got you going to number 9 to the Knicks, Trae Young. Even though I feel like a team could trade up for Trae Young just because he's a big name. But that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about trading up and all that right now. We're just talking about the actual picks as they are right now. So if they stand pat where they are right now, I think Trae Young's going number 9 to the Knicks. Number 10, we got the Philadelphia 76ers. Did I already pick Jarren Jackson? If I haven't picked Jarren Jackson, then I'm going, no, I think I already picked Jarren Jackson. Well, Philly, I know Michael Porter Jr. is still on the board. Do you really want another wing coming in there? I guess you do, because they're talking about they want LeBron, so. Michael Porter is definitely going to the Hornets if he's still there at 11. But will the Philly 76ers pass up on him? That's a good question. Philly could get Kevin Knox. That's another guy they can get. I'm gonna go with Philly getting. I'm gonna say Kevin Knox. I'm gonna bank on them giving Kevin Knox from Kentucky, EK. That's a super random pick. I know some people are probably booing me right now, listening in the draft room, in the arena, in Barclays, but that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Kevin Knox at number 10. Number 11, I gotta go MPJ. Jordan loves getting the biggest names on the board, especially from college basketball, and MPJ had that. Although he only played a couple games in college, he had that big name coming in from high school. So if MPJ doesn't go by 11, which he probably is, he's not gonna fall, I don't think, to 11. He's definitely going to the Charlotte Hornets. Number 12, the Clippers, they have back-to-back picks. I got Miles Bridges going number 1. They need to replace Blake Griffin, and they're just starting fresh right now. And I think that's a great pick. That's a great pickup if you can get Miles Bridges at number 12. This is a really good draft. I guess that's why so many teams were tanking. But yeah, I'm definitely getting Miles Bridges with that number 12 pick. Number 13, the Clippers again, back-to-back picks. Maybe Zhaire Smith. Zhaire Smith, the shooting guard from Texas Tech. He's a very athletic guard. Its highlights remind me of Gerald Green, which is a good and a bad thing because, I mean, if you have someone with Gerald Green athleticism, that is something special. But if you also have someone with Gerald Green athleticism, how long can that really last? I mean, you're not going to be that athletic for that long. What other parts of your game do you have? And how much do you rely on your athleticism that you've had all your life? And you're not going to have it anymore at 28. Just look at a guy like Josh Smith. Josh Smith was still athletic later on in his career, but he faded so early into 30, 31, 32 because he just had his athleticism all of his life, and he got drafted into that, and he's just dependent on athleticism so much. And when you lose that, what do you have now? What do you have to offer to me now? So I have Zhaire Smith going to the Clippers. And then Denver, to close out the lottery, I got Denver getting Denver already has a good roster. They're just victims of being in the Western Conference, losing that last game, that playing game. I think they had like 40 plus wins this year. Denver has a squad. They have one of the best big men in the game. I know I've said that a lot, but obviously Denver definitely has one of the better big men in the game. Probably top 5. Definitely top 5. And then Paul Millsap. And then the guards, Moutier and Gary and who's the other guards? But Denver has like some of the best young guards on the Western Conference. They have a really good squad. So I guess I have them going. I want to choose another surprise here. I think that's too much of a reach. I was thinking about Jontay Porter. There's no way Jontay Porter's... No! Jontay Porter might go... He might go close to the lottery. He's definitely... I feel more confident in saying he's not going to go in the lottery, but I think he could go in the lottery. But then again, they have one of the best big men, Nikola Mirotic. So for Denver, I'm going to go with... Who do you get if you're Denver? Maybe the kid. For Denver, I'm going to go with Anfernee Simons. I believe Anfernee took a year off, or he played somewhere else after going to IMG Academy prep school. He went somewhere else after his gap year between high school and the NBA. So I think he rounds out the NBA lottery. I know he was one of those big McDonald's guys or whatever. So shout out Anfernee Simons, shout out to Denver, and shout out to you for watching this video. If you stuck all the way to the end, please like, comment, subscribe. You are the best. Have a great